Now, back to Access Tech Live, the latest in tech and accessibility with Stephen Scott and Marc Aflalo.
And we're back on Access Tech Live. Now, we've already met some cool companies and learned about what they do as a result of being at CSUN virtually last week, thanks to Tim. Mark, what else do we have lined up?
Well, a cool company called School Health is one that I had not heard of before CSUN. They're a provider of health supplies and services to professionals in the education setting, from preschool all the way to college. And they had some pretty neat things on display from different companies. So let's hear more from Jody Shooter, who's a specialist in special education over at School Health.
School Health is a third-generation family-owned business who is known for vision screeners in the schools, as well as defibrillation and emergency preparedness. We also have a special ed division. We have a sports medicine, physical education, early childhood, and vision and hearing screenings. So Cosmos are little round Bluetooth switches. They change colors when you tap them. There's multiple colors you can change them to. So if you have low vision, you might want to use the reds and the yellows. If you have someone who has a favorite color, you could change it to a hot pink, say, for someone else. There's such a variety of uses that they can be. They're very flexible in that way. So you could use all 6 of them on an app, or you could pull a couple aside and use them in a variety of different ways. So you could be Bluetoothing them to your computer for that person that needs a right click, and it doesn't really matter what the disability might be. They might be looking for low vision to work on seeing the different colors. They might be working on their gross motor skills, their fine motor skills. So our OTs really like it for that. Or building their strength and mobility is also very important. The next thing that I'm really excited to share here at CSUN is the portable blackout sensory tent. It can be used in so many different ways. You could use it in the back of a gymnasium. If the balls are just a little bit too loud, you could use it for low vision. You could have people going in because it is truly a blackout. It's great for CVI students to work on things. I love that you can set it up and take it down in just a couple minutes. It comes with its own duffel bag, and it's a very low-cost way to just create a quiet space that can be used for so many things. In today's world, lots of the stadiums that we have, whether it's the NFL or the hockey leagues, the NHL, or even if it's our amusement parks, they also are starting to appreciate the need for these quiet areas, and this is just a really great low-cost way to set it up. The next thing I want to show you about is a brand new product by ScanMarker. It is a text-to-speech device. You're able to touch to read. You can scan across any print material that you'd like to read. I'm going to scan just a couple lines to show you. Then it'll go ahead and read it out loud. You'd have Bluetooth earbuds in. It does have a speaker. It's a little loud in here. You can replay this as many times. If you have dyslexia or anything where you might need to repeat, that's okay. And also if you want to hear one word, you could just click on that word and hear that word out loud. You can also look up the word in the dictionary by just clicking over here. And then it would read out your definitions for you as well. So great text-to-speech device. And also it has Translate. So if you're online, you can translate in hundreds of languages to be able to communicate. You can speak into it also. So I could say, hello, how are you? And it would say, hola, ¿cómo estás? And vice versa. You could do that back and forth. There's also a voice recorder built in, but really great product to help someone who needs access to print materials, but hearing it auditory.
And what I love about that, Mark, is the fact that you have this kind of technology going into schools where, and we're going to talk about this next week, following that breaking news at the top of the show, they're trying to move away from kids having access to their smartphones in the classroom. This could help.
Yeah, because it helps distract them with something that actually is relevant to the education, which is obviously a smarter move in the end. Stephen, last but not least from CSUN is Sony. Sony made a pretty big splash about the fact that they were going to be at CSUN, and from what I understand, the exhibit there in the booth was absolutely enormous and fairly significant. No one did not know they were there, so to speak, right?
Yeah, and Sony have been actually quite recently. I mean, I know they've been around for a long time as a company, but more recently getting into the accessibility world and in some interesting areas. We're going to hear about one area first up, but I want to delve into some of the other areas because there's one particular device they had on show that I was very excited about. But we'll hear from the company first.
Let's do that now.
Hi, my name is Melanie Mincham, and I'm an accessibility researcher with Sony. And we're here at CSUN 2024 to demonstrate some built-in accessibility features across all of our products. So our first product is our Bravia Sony TV. Our newest model has the most amount of accessibility features, including talkback from the initial setup. So that means that a completely blind person can set up the TV independently. We also have the option for people who have low vision of text magnification, as well as color inversion and grayscale. So that can help with increasing contrast for different content, as well as on-screen text. So another feature we have for visually impaired people on our latest Bravia TV is the Google Voice Assistant. So that means that you don't need a remote to access your favorite shows. So for example, you could say, hey Google, open YouTube and play Access Tech Live. So another thing about the TV that can be hands-free, which would be good for both visually impaired and people with mobility impairments, is the built-in camera gestures. So the TV itself comes with a camera, and that means that you can wave your hand in specific ways to navigate through your TV. So you don't need the remote at all, which is really helpful. And all of these features are already built into the Sony Bravia TV, the latest models that are coming out. And something else that we're rolling out that we're extremely excited because it came directly from our user testing that we've done with blind and low vision individuals is we're introducing a new raised QR code. So it's a raised outline around a QR code that blind and low vision users can scan with their phone camera and then access all of our instruction manual as well as the key steps to set up their devices. We're also excited to tell you about some new features that we have for people who are hard of hearing or have a hearing impairment. So some of our features include the volume reset button, available built into the TV, and that allows you to set your TV to a specific volume so that every time you turn on your TV, it will be at that volume. That's helpful for two reasons. The number one is if you are blind and you rely on TalkBack to navigate your TV, you don't need to worry about the TV being too low. Maybe a family member has, really likes the volume low, and every time you turn on the TV, you can't hear it. So in this case, if you set that specific volume, you will always be able to hear it from the time you power the TV on. On the flip side of that, if you have a family member who likes to listen to the TV really loudly, you don't have to worry about turning the TV on and having everything blasting out loud, so you can always have a comfortable volume.
Yeah, I remember when Bose had something like this years ago when it had like a night mode. So when you would turn the TV back on in the morning, it would reset the volume. And even at nighttime, it would bring the volume down a little bit, which is cool. I mean, I love all this stuff. But I've got to say, I mean, aside the fact that, great TVs, and certainly I'll be looking at Sony for the next TV I want to buy, I was more interested in their robot dog. It's called Aibo, A-I-B-O, and this is supposedly like a dog that can learn, and apparently it can pick up on things, and you can train it. You can buy accessories for it. You can buy a food bowl. You can buy a water bowl. You can buy a bone for a robot dog. I will say though, it does cost around $3,000. So considered purchase category for sure.
And they recommend you getting two of them, like more than one. Of course, your dogs need companions. Why would you buy just one?
Just brought out the new espresso edition, which is kind of cool. Whatever that.
You know a little bit too much about Aibo. I have a feeling there's a support group for this. Stevie Wonder, I mean, it's hard to miss Stevie Wonder when he walks through the halls at CSUN. He did make an appearance, and you actually got a video sent to you by Matt Ader over at Vespero. He showed up at this cocktail party at the end of the day, and someone was quick enough to pull out their smartphone and get us some video of it, and here it is.
It is always an honor to be here, to come to this convention, but a chance to thank all of the people who are making it possible for us, those who are blind, with low vision, with disabilities of any kind, to make it possible for us to see the world, to have complete inclusion on this planet is such a wonderful thing and such a blessing. So as much as I would thank the writer of the first song that I had to become #1 that I didn't write, as excited as I was about that, I'm as excited today to say to all of you, thank you. And you are the reason with what you've done and what you're doing makes it possible for me to not only have technology that I can use to write, but as well to discover the world to write more about. Thank you.
Yes.
That is the voice of Stevie Wonder at CSUN making an appearance there. They panned to the crowd at one point. Stevie, you see everybody kind of enjoying their cocktails at the end of the day, but everybody glued to Stevie as he made his, I guess, final appearance over there at CSUN. And we'll try to get you there next year, I promise. Coming up, we've got to wrap things up with the answers to our question of the day, which is, have you ever had any issues with ride-sharing apps? Let us know. This is Access Tech Live. We'll get to your answers after a quick break. Stick around.
There's more Access Tech Live to come. Get involved and have your say at Access Tech Live on social media. We'll be right back.